5 cars non-car guys think are supercars. Hello riders, how are you doing today? Leave a nice comment below and I will reply to everyone with a nice smiley emoji. Many of us who are knowledgeable about cars know every make and model of car that passes us on the street. Sure, we might be a bit obsessive about it, but then we live for cars, especially the rare, interesting and unique ones. And we also know that there are lots of people who don't pay much attention to some unique features as much as we do. These are the guys who are always thrilled at the sight of any red sports car with scoops, spoilers and an engine in the back, and immediately pull out their phone to capture a proper supercar. However, not every low, weird-shaped vehicle is an Italian exotic, and over the years, numerous manufacturers have created cars that look fast, but in fact have pretty modest performance. So here are those cars. Some do look nice, some are even rare, but none of them is fast. Number 1. Lotus Elise. When the Elise was released in 1996, the automotive world crowned it as the king of the driver's cars. The Elise was lightweight, agile, precise and extremely fun to toss around in tight corners. With a mid-engine layout, fiberglass body and weight of around 930 kilograms, it looked like a real exotic supercar, especially by mid-90s standards. Of course, if you know anything about Lotus, you will see it wasn't a supercar by any means. Powered by a tiny 1.8-liter Rover engine with just 118 horsepower, the Elise had lively performance due to a very lightweight body, but that was about it. It has a very basic interior with no special features and sometimes even no carpet, hence the weight. Majority of Lotus cars are characterized to suffer from fit and finish problems, even with such a basic design. It may look like an exotic car and it almost drove like one, if not better, but it was about as far from a supercar as it could get. Number 2. The Pontiac Fiero. Everyone was expecting the Pontiac to deliver a new GTO muscle car back in the 80s, but instead they unveiled a mid-engine two-seater sports car with rear-wheel drive and funky-looking wedge design. In all honesty, it looks nothing like a typical American muscle car and was a bit of a shock when it was unveiled. Unfortunately, like with all sports cars on this list, the Fiero was fairly underdeveloped and despite looking like a supercar, it never really was one. Interestingly, it did become part of a supercar narrative, sort of, since the Fiero was often used as the basis for the Ferrari 308 replicas due to similar size and rear-wheel drive. This was a trending conversion job in the 80s, and even today you can still get Ferrari 308 Testarossa and Ferrari F40 conversion kits. Of course, this can be easily spotted by a trained car guy, but for many non-car guys it will be likely more than a challenge. Number 3. The Toyota MR2 W20. Produced for 10 years from 1989 to 1999, the second generation Toyota MR2 is the perfect definition of supercar look-alike. You can easily mistake it for mid-90s Ferrari if it had red paint job and aftermarket wheels. It was even called the poor man's Ferrari in some markets. It featured a mid-engine layout, pop-out headlights, raised spoiler and a lively performance from the 2.2-liter 4-cylinder engine that admittedly produced only 130 bhp. But looking at other fast cars from that era, MR2 was never even close to being considered a supercar. The closest the MR2 came to being an exotic machine was when it was used for building Ferrari replicas, as the Pontiac Fiero, by replacing body panels to those closely resembling Ferrari 355 or a Ferrari 360 Modena. But again, if you know your car stuff, you'll immediately notice that the car is strangely shaped and way too short to be the real thing. Number 4. The Alfa Romeo 4C. The Alfa Romeo 4C is an extremely controversial car. Everybody always wants to see a sports car from Alfa, especially after failing with the Brera, but nobody expected the legendary factory from Milan to go all out. 4C seemed to be an amazing sports car, equipped with carbon chassis, stunning design, sharp handling, turbocharged mid-engine layout and pretty good performance with 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. It is also quite exclusive as only around 2000 examples have been built so far. On the other hand, it can be considered a supercar simply because it has a small 1.75-liter 4-cylinder engine, which is also shared with other economy cars from the Fiat group. With 245 horsepower and lightweight, it is not that slow, but nowhere near proper sports cars. Number 5. DeLorean DMC12. You'd probably remember this iconic car from a classic Back to the Future movie. The DMC12 was thought to be the next big thing when it was first released in the early 80s, and it had a lot going for it. Besides its amazing features like the doors, it's also equipped with a 2.8-liter V6 configuration that produces 130 bhp, so as you imagine, it's actually pretty slow. In fact, at 8.8 seconds 0 to 60, you could probably start to wonder if it's truly a sports car. All the more embarrassing is that it was once considered to be a competitor to the Porsche 911. How did that happen? You can get one for around $40,000, but you should do it only if you are a real die-hard fan of the Back to the Future series and plan to travel in time. So there you have it, 5 cars that non-car guys think are supercars. Which ones did I miss and which one would you have? Comment below and I will reply in 24 hours. As usual, thanks for watching and enjoy the ride, people.